Hey, Art, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, got plenty to eat.
Yep, sure did.
Very good. So, today we're going to be talking about some amazing qualities of the Bible. A question that I get sometimes when I'm talking to people is, how do we know that the Bible is from God? And there's several ways that we can know that the Bible's from God. And we can see that the Bible is accurate in many ways. And one way is the scientific foreknowledge that the Bible speaks about. The Bible is not a book of science, but when the Bible speaks of science, it speaks accurately about science. And really, there are things written in Scripture, for example, in beginning about 1450 BC, that speaks about things that man didn't know for some 3,500 years until afterward. One example is in Leviticus chapter 17 in verse 11, where it talks about the life of the flesh is in the blood. And we know that if we were to drain all man's blood out of his body, he would not live anymore. So that's one of the ways that we know that the Bible is from God.
Yeah, and like you said, even though it's a religious document, when it speaks about science or history or things like that, we always know it's true. And that, short, of course, are evidences or fingerprints of divine inspiration. Another one is historical accuracy. Every time the Bible speaks about a historical event, when we make discoveries, it always confirms the Bible to be true. One good example I remember hearing about is Pilate. For years, the only evidence we had for Pilate was from Scripture, from the story of Jesus, until years later they found an inscription in Caesarea that had Pilate's name on it. And so every time the Bible talks about a person, place, or thing, and that's the thing about the story of Scripture, is it's grounded in real places, real people, real events that we can verify, through archaeological discovery. Another one would be prophecy. And that's a big biblical one. People often associate the Bible with prophecy. And we know that with prophecy, the Bible predicts the future. And the Bible even gives us a test that if a prophecy doesn't come to pass, then that's a false prophet. And time again do we see prophecies in Scripture that were fulfilled later on in history as we look back. But we look at those fulfillments, and they were fulfilled with astounding accuracy. One more, and to me this is one of my personal favorites, is how the Bible addresses the big questions of life. I've always heard that philosophers have asked the three big questions: why am I, or where did I originate from? Why am I here? And what's my eventual destination? And of course, all that ties to my purpose in life. And so the Bible, it addresses those things. Not only does it speak truth about all these other things, but it speaks to me directly, showing that it's from God.
Right. And you had mentioned prophecy, and one name that comes to mind is Nostradamus. And people would say, well, he predicts the future. Well, his are very general predictions, but when you look to the Bible, everything is specific and minute to the detail when it talks about prophecy and things that are going to happen in the future. So appreciate that. And finally, there's more we could cover, but finally, there's one that talks about the personality of Jesus Christ. When we look at the personality of Jesus Christ, no one shines forth brighter than Jesus Christ in history. He challenges the authority masterfully. He asks them questions, and as you would say, he puts them in the horns of a dilemma where they really can't answer the questions he asks, because if they answer one way, he's got them. He's got them no matter how they answer. He loves those in society that society doesn't love. In all his dealings with mankind and humans, in all points, he never ever sinned. And when you look at the personality of Jesus Christ, there's nobody that matches up to Jesus Christ in history. And so what our hope is, as we move forward in these podcasts is to prevent more evidence to show that the Bible is of divine origin.
Thank you.